Look, he's a lovely fellow with a mighty voice who was propelled into the spotlight in the 1980s thanks to the UK production team Stock Aitken and Waterman and their super catchy song, Never Gonna Give You Up. It made Rick Astley an overnight superstar. Now he's put pen to paper in a memoir opening up on fame, family, and his controversial call to walk away from the industry. It's called Never.
Yeah.
Rick Astley, you handsome rascal, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. You're looking good yourself, by the way, I must say.
Now you're telling all, huh?
Yep. I've really enjoyed doing it, but it's also been, there's been a few tears and a few memories that I thought I'd forgotten and hoped I'd forgotten, if you like, you know what I mean? But I also feel if you do an autobiography, then I think you've got to put it all in there. If you have a career like I had, you know, obviously starting in the 80s, the end of the 80s there, you're going to have a story to tell eventually. And I've got to the age where I think it's worth telling.
You said that fame, it's a bittersweet thing to say, but fame gave you the opportunity to be able to move away from your dad. Absolutely.
I mean, in the beginning of the book, I explained this moment where my next eldest brother, Mike, held a knife to my dad's throat because he was about to start being physical with me, which he hardly ever did. My dad had lost it. He'd lost control completely. And my brother Mike, he'd lost it. And I was about 17 at the time. Mike was a bit older. And I think when it gets to that level, something's got to give.
Well, no family is a normal family,
No.
But that was pretty extreme. I think the part in the book where we all kind of joined the party, if I can put it that way,
Yeah,
where there was a little song called Never Gonna Give You Up.
indeed. There's very few things that come close to having a big record like that in terms of what it offers you. Obviously coming to Australia, you know, coming to every corner of the world kind of thing and promoting that record and then eventually touring with it. And also the thing about, you know, the fame thing, which is a double-edged sword. It can be an amazing thing. It's a very giving thing in lots of ways, but I just wish you could turn it off.
What I didn't know, and I've spoken to you many times, you were signed to Stock Aitken Waterman. They didn't believe in the song. They wanted to make it a duet.
I think they had a lot of issues with the way I looked because I looked about 11 years old and I didn't sound like that. And I think they also saw me as just being almost too shy and a bit quiet and a bit this, that, and the other. But I think a lot of that kind of quietness, if you like, came from the fact that I was in a madhouse. And I don't even mean my upbringing, forget that madhouse. I'm on about the madhouse of Pete Waterman and Stock Aitken Waterman thing. When I signed to them, they'd made records, they'd done okay, but they hadn't had that boom sort of moment. Yeah, but it just goes to show that even people who supposedly know what they're doing, nobody really knows.
When you decided to go, okay, famous, yeah, don't really like it that much, walking away. Big call.
It was a big call, but I think it was a very natural thing for me. I never really loved the fame thing. I was actually properly famous for 5 minutes there, like where I couldn't really go anywhere or do anything without, you know, that being involved in everyday life, every second of my life. But also, I never fell out of love with music. I always say that, but I certainly fell out of love with the music business.
And then to come back and say, well, I'm only going to do what I want to do when I want to do it and if I want to do it.
The way that I've gone about doing things over this past maybe even 10 years or so is very much on my terms. And I always know that I've got a valve somewhere that I can go and turn it off and say, I'm done.
Never say never, mate. And Australia, I mean, I'd rather you said soon than never.
We haven't got any plans right this second, but, you know, I'm sure we'll get down there at some point for sure.
He's
Yeah,
a
he does.
good-looking rooster, isn't he? His memoir is out right now. It's a cracking read too, I got to say. It's called Never, which is a great title.
He's such a fun guy too.
He is.
Good chat.
Do you think he would have looked fantastic in denim on denim back in the day?
Back in the day, can't
Yes.
do that anymore.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?